Buddy Rogers becomes the first WWF champion. Coca-Cola Company introduces its first diet drink, Tab Cola, and smallpox outbreak hits Stockholm, Sweden, which lasted from May to June this year, which was 1963. In 1963, Dodge was broken down into two car segments. You had the compact segment with the Dodge Dart and full-size cars with the 330, 440, Polara 500, 880, and Custom 880. They also offered wagons, as well as had a truck line that went from the half-ton all the way up to the big commercial. The Dart was broken down into 170, 270, and GT at the top. The GT could be had as a two-door hardtop or a two-door convertible. Dodge would offer the Dodge Dart from 1959 through 1976 in the North American market. It would get revived for 2012 through 2016, once again in the North American market. Side note, Chrysler would first use the Dart name on two Italian show cars in 1956 and 57. The Dodge Dart was offered in 5 generations. 1963 falls in the third generation, which was produced from 63, 64, 65, and 66. The 1963 Dodge Dart saw a redesign. So let's compare 62 on the top, 63 on the bottom, starting in the front. The first thing that I notice is the size difference. The 62 looks huge compared to the 63. The 62 is 202 inches long, and the 63 is 196 inches long. 6 inches difference doesn't sound like a lot, but looking at these two, one on top of another, the 63 looks a whole lot smaller. The 63 also looks sleeker. The front looks like Chrysler turbine car, in my opinion. Interesting thing, though, is both the 62 and 63 are designed by the same guy, Virgil Exner. 63 goes back to single lights versus quad lights on the 62, which, if you think about it, how is it supposed to be worded? Should it be dual lights and quad lights, or single lights and dual lights? And the third option is single and quad, is what I've always said. But what do you guys say? I'm interested in the comment section below. Turn signals on top of the bumper, right under the grille on the 62 versus under the bumper on the 63. Moving to the side profile, the 63 looks a whole lot sleeker, more refined, and not as radical as the 62. Windshield and vent windows are different between these two, as well as everything, frankly. Gas filler on the driver's side on the 63 versus it's at the rear behind the license plate. Moving aft, I personally dig the rear end styling of the 63, which you will totally see when we do our walk around. Reverse lights have been moved and changed from circular to rectangular. Bumpers and everything else is totally different. But real quick, look at the bumper on the 62. It dips ever so slightly, almost like an elongated V. Do you see it? Jumping inside to take a quick look at the interior and dash situation, both totally different. Which one do you like better? Let's talk specs. 196 inches long, 68.7 inches wide. It rides a wheelbase of 111 inches. It weighs 2,640 pounds. Price, $2,510, which is equivalent to you spending $25,161.19 in the year 2024. Total 1963 Dodge production was 446,129 units, of which 153,900 were the Dodge Dart variety. Moving on to engines, which there were two. Starting out in the basement, 170 cubic inch displacement, overhead valve, slant 6, 2.8 liters. It's good for 101 horsepower. At 4,400 RPM, 155 pound-feet or 210 newton meters at 2,400 RPM with a bore of 3.4 inches and a stroke of 3.1 inches. Compression is 8.2 to 1. When backed with a 3-speed manual transmission, 0 to 60 could be had in 14.8 seconds. Theoretical top speed of 94 miles per hour while achieving an average 17.2 miles to the gallon. And these are all just baseline jumping off numbers. Mileage may vary. Moving on to the biggest and baddest engine on offer for the Dodge Dart for 1963. 225 cubic inch displacement, overhead valve, slant 6, 3.7 liters. It's good for 145 horsepower, 4,000 RPM, 215 pound-feet, or 292 newton meters at 2,000 RPM with a bore of 3.4 inches and a stroke of 4.1 inches. Compression is 8.2 to 1. 4 main bearings. When backed with a 3-speed manual transmission, 0 to 60 could be had in 11.7 seconds. Theoretical top speed of 102 miles per hour while achieving an average fuel consumption rating of 15.2 miles to the gallon. It's important to note that these cars are unit body constructed, meaning body and frame are all one unit. Options, not getting into all of the options, but here are a few. Push button automatic transmission, fresh air and heat ventilation, padded dashboard, variable speed, electric windshield wipers, power steering, air conditioning.
Two great cars are coming from Dodge. Two great cars are coming from Dodge. The dependable into new sizes.
There's a new idea in compacts. The compact in the large economy size. The 1963 Dodge Dart coming October 2nd.
Two great cars are coming from Dodge.
There's a smart idea in standard size cars. The 1963 Dodge, a beautiful way to move up in the low price field. Coming October 2nd.
Two great cars are coming from Dodge. The dependables into new sizes.
If you like 'em tough, quick, smart, see your Dodge dealer.
Two great cars are coming from
See
Dodge.
'em October 2nd.
The dependables into new sizes.
If you're in the market for a 1963 Dodge Dart GT convertible that looks like it just rolled off the showroom floor yesterday, this one is currently for sale at Classic Auto Mall, Morgantown, Pennsylvania. They also have 1,000 cars besides this one for sale. And get this, anybody can go peruse their inventory, whether that be online or in person, but it's definitely worth the pilgrimage to go there and check out this honey hole of cars in person. For more information, pictures, and directions to get to Classic Auto Mall, be sure to click the link below after the show. Let's talk styling. Just look at these massive headlights in front. It kind of reminds me of the Chrysler turbine car. Beautiful grille. Concaves back inside. But notice the angle in which it does it. It is steeper here. Just look at that grille. Also bumpers. Look at how it has this edge. It kind of like flows back into our bumperette overrider. But coming back to these headlights, they're recessed. This bezel is absolutely huge. And just look at the lines that come off of it. You have this trim piece that goes down the side and this line. This one has the turn signal indicators on the fenders to let you know that your turn signals are on. Just look at this hood. It's pretty smooth, except for this bulge here that says Dodge. There's also a GT badge. Coming down the side, the fenders are flared. Notice how little it is down here, and then it gets more aggressive as it comes up. This one's sitting on like steely wheels with white walls, 14-inch tires. This one has a cowl, not a vent, but a cowl. Windshield wipers go opposites. Look at all of the stainless around the windshield. This windshield is tinted at the top. Side mirror, it's mounted to the door. Here's a better look at this line. Gets pretty aggressive right there. This car does not have rocker molding. Just look at this line that protrudes ever so slightly and then goes around the wheel well. This one has gravel guards, as well as the gravel guards are flared, just like the wheel well is. Notice how it tapers into the body there. Gas filler right there. This is how the trim ends. It says Dart right there, and this is convexed. Also check out this trim for the rear bumper. There's a lot of lines going on with this design. Look at how far these taillights sit inside the bezel. They kind of look like jet thrusters. As well as Dodge GT right there. The bumpers mimic the front bumpers with this. But the overriders are placed in different spots. Like in the front, the overrider was here. They're moved. So notice when you push the door, when you push the button, it pops out. This door has a nice weighty feel to it. Painted metal on top. This feels like a vinyl material. Then you have bright work to separate the different colors and or materials. Carpet down here. Armrest to put your arm on, as well as door handle to pull it shut. Door handle to get out. Window crank for the big window. Notice it's notched here at the top so it can meet with that. And this window isn't all framed out. It just has this trim piece here that would go over top of the other window so that it doesn't leak when it's raining. Coming down inside the pedal box down here, high beam switch. This looks like the pedal for the windshield wiper. You push this and it washes your window, which is a really nice feature. You don't have to take your hands off the wheel. Hand brake, parking brake, emergency brake. It has lots of different names, this brake does. This is your regular brakes, and that's the gas pedal. Take a look at this interior. Nice quality shot. Here is what over the hood looks like. Here's what first person over the hood looks like. On to the button switches and knobs, starting on the left and moving right. Windshield wipers, headlights / dome lights, and panel lights all in the same switch. Park, which is a slider separate from the drive modes. Drive modes read reverse, neutral, drive, second, first. Speedometer with odometer inside of it. Left turn signal indicator, oil pressure light. Right turn signal indicator, high beam indicator underneath the oil pressure idiot light. Gasoline gauge, coolant temperature, amp meter, lighter, key / ignition, ashtray, power top, radio, which definitely looks like an aftermarket unit, fan, temperature, defrost. Up above there are sun visors.
and they work opposite. There's this bar, and they're kind of just mounted up here like this, and then if you want to pull it down, you could just pull it down in front of you. It's got this nice cutout for the rear view mirror, so the sun visors don't affect it. This rear view mirror has a daytime nighttime feature, which is really nice. On to the glove box test. Here's our test subject. Here is my hand for reference. Here is the glove box in question. The massive camera fits inside the hole, but will it shut? No, it doesn't shut. So it does fit, but it won't shut. Notice the cup indentations. Getting in the rear, but before we do, just notice all of the bright work on the chairs themselves. These do slide manually. Also look at these sills. And just notice how far of a drop it is once you get inside. There's carpeting on the chair itself, as well as on the back of the seat. That's how much space you have to get back there. Here is what the front looks like from the back. Let's take a quick gander at the greenhouse or pillar to glass ratio. It's nice in this car. The back, because this is a convertible, while the top is in place, you have all that space to store extra stuff if you want. Plastic window in the back. Notice the convertible top workings. Notice it's black and not chrome or a steel color. Notice it's not shiny. Creature comforts back here. Armrest, ashtray. I love the trim that comes back around. It's pretty cool. Everything that's found on the driver's side is also found on the passenger side. Armrest, ashtray. Windows do go up and down, and they operate like this. Here's about how much space I have between my knees and the back of this seat. Let's talk about the seating profile. It's pretty comfortable, but this bench is huge, and it does dip down in the back a little bit. Coming to the under the hood section, the release is right underneath this like little dip, and unlatches it, and you just put it straight up. And it's relatively light because it has these torsion bars. Windshield washer. This one's got a dual master cylinder powered brakes. Old style battery. 225 slant 6. Look at the Chrysler badge on top of the radiator cap. It's a tiny radiator, but it's aluminum, which is nice. It's got aftermarket horns, alternator right in front. There are two belts, two-belt system. The power steering pump sits way down inside here. But just look at how thin this belt is. It's super thin. That's probably about 1/4 of an inch. Also, just check out how this hood is designed so it meets up with the lights here.
On the positive side, great styling, great overall package. The interior, especially when you consider the car at the price point that this was, the interior is unbelievable. Easy to read gauges, space in the rear seat for a 6-foot tall 2024 full-grown adult. These are still affordable. They're not crazy expensive yet. Against it, no V8 options available in 1963 for this car. Rust prone, which means if you consider buying one of these, you need to scrutinize it. Look everywhere, because these are unit body construction, and I've heard horror stories of them just rusting in half. This car doesn't have that problem. This is one of the cleanest ones I've ever seen. All right, now it's time for Would You Rather. Two scenarios today. In the first scenario, would you rather have a 1963 Ford Falcon Sprint or 1963 Dodge Dart GT or 1963 Chevy Corvair Spider? That's the turbo model. I'm going to leave this here for a minute. If you need more time, feel free, pause the video. Moving on to the second scenario, a bit outside of the box, but which one would you rather have? 1963 Volkswagen Carmen Ghia or 1963 Dodge Dart GT or 1963 MG. Once again, I'm going to leave this here for a minute. If you need more time, feel free, pause the video. Now it's time for Name That Tune. First person to get both the name of the band and the song title correctly in the comment section will have their comment pinned to the top of it. I totally forgot how much I dig that song. Anyway, thank you all so much for coming out and watching this. If this is your first time checking out this channel, just stumbled upon it for the very first time and you dig what you just saw, there's 420 more episodes just like this one. I encourage you to check out what this channel has to offer. The comment section is just as good as the content. There's lots of information in the comment section, and this is more than a car channel. This is a car community that I'm very much a part of. So if you totally dig, subscribe and hit the bell icon next to it to never miss a video. I totally appreciate everything that you guys bring in the comment section. I love the stories, I love the critiques, I love everything. Until next time, toodaloo! Ba-doop, boop, 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 boop.